Hi guys, Shawn Clement here from the Richmond Hill Golf Learning Center, and we got ourselves a guinea pig here for video analysis. This is Paul Caleb, which is our subject for today. You'll notice, I notice this in a lot of my students, a lot of very similar things happening to a lot of golfers in this particular video, and I chose Paul's so that everybody could benefit from this particular analysis. So I'm going to show you first and foremost his swing and what it looks like and everything else, and then for the second part of the series I will show you and demonstrate how we're going to go about improving Paul's general golf swing and outlook and power and smoothness and all that stuff. Okay, so here we go. So you'll notice you know, Paul is very much a technician. You could see that right here, as far as on his face-on view. His head's behind the ball, width of stance is ideal, club in the center, ball forward of the club, right shoulder lower than left shoulder. All the great attributes are right there. So it's a great setup position. We could have his left foot a tad more open. Right foot looks great. And if you look here, his alignment is excellent down the line. Good posture right here. He could be a tad more forward in the chest, a tad more protruded in his posterior, and have a little more pressure driving through the arches of his feet. But other than that, it looks fantastic. Okay? So, Paul, congrats on that. Your setup looks great. Now, as far as the beginning of the swing, and I'm going to show you a couple of his general swings here, and you'll see that Paul is very much a technician. He really keeps his club on plane. He hinges his wrists well. He's got good balance in general. Okay, so you can see right here in his takeaway. So his arms, and this is where we're going to talk about the initial part, the initial start of his swing. And you could very much see that it's determined or dominated by the arms. So he is trying to put his club and his arms on plane, all right? And you notice how his lower body and even his upper body still hasn't moved. So his arms are quickly on the way to crash into his body, all right? So then the body starts to move a little bit. Here we go. All right, now the hips start to turn. And you can see he sets his club beautifully on plane. Nice wrist hinge, okay? Good shoulder turn right there. So the shoulders, you can see from the front view here, the shoulders are 90 degrees. But you can see how there's a lot of restriction in his hips, and there's been a slight lateral move in his hips. So you notice how he's getting stuck on his right side. So from there, he's got to try and help it. And you can see how, as he's trying to help it, it looks like, if you look at the swing in regular motion again, it doesn't really look like he's whipping the golf club, meaning that he doesn't have enough backswing to swat or whip that club, all right? So that, he's going to have to start working on his takeaway, all right? Making sure that in the initial part of his backswing, and by this stage right here, he should be fully turned in his hips, and he should already have his butt moving toward the target, and the weight should be shifting back, you know, starting to shift back into his left side, all right? So first thing is get more rotation in those hips, a lot more turn in that butt, a lot more protrusion of that butt toward the target, and the turning of the posterior is going to, you know, should suck that left knee in a little more behind that ball. That right hip's got to get out of the way a lot more in that backswing. So that's going to set the stage for a much smoother, much easier downward whip of the club. Now, next question I want to ask Paul is he trying to hit that ball? Right? Because you can tell, and this was the main concern of his, is that he's got a tendency to release his hands a little early, all right, into, you know, before he gets to the golf ball. And you'll notice here at the top of his backswing, let's go to that top of the backswing again, all right? So the first move down, you can see that the arm position is excellent. That right elbow is a little lower than the left, right? And right about here is where he starts to basically throw it away. So impact position looks great. You can see that he's braced on his left side. His head's still in the same place behind where the ball was. You could see that there was a nice strike on the club face. The ball is taken off on a nice, a good launch angle, a little high. So if the hands were coming in, if he had maintained his lag a little bit more, he'd have a little bit lower ball flight on the way out. All right? And then if we look at the finish position, good extension and nice stack in the finish. So generally, this looks pretty darn good, okay? Now, to get a lot more distance, we need to abandon that club to gravity. And you'll notice here, you notice in the swing, what I compare it to is, let's say you were pushing a kid on a swing. You got your hand on the swing, you start pushing, but you never let go with your hand. So you're pushing and pulling the kid on the swing without letting go. And that's basically what's happening to Paul right here, okay? So let's have a look now with what it would look like in my perspective, and I'll demonstrate to you what it should look like. So let's go.